you doing, everybody? It's Tim from Ski Rex Media once again with another Ski Rex Media podcast and another head of a mountain. I talked to John Hunt over at Whaleback. I've talked to Jeff Hathaway down at Magic. I talked to Mark Adamczyk over at the Dartmouth Skiway. We like to talk to the people who run the mountains. It's very interesting to me. I'm sure it's interesting to some of you all. We get some good conversations, some good hangs. And we have another one today, Miss Lindsay DesLauriers from Bolton Valley, another Indy Pass mountain. And you know me, I love the Indy Pass. Shout out to the Indy Pass. Shout out to Doug Fish. Shout out to all the mountains on the Indy Pass. I love it. And we talk Indy Pass and a few other things. But before we get into the interview, real quick, let me just do the plugs. Ski Rex Media, skirexmedia.com, Ski Rex Media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. The Ski Rex Media merch shop at skirexmediamerchshop.com, the Patreon, all of it, all kinds of different ways you can participate and follow and know what's going on at Ski Rex Media. See what I'm doing out there on the mountains as I get out there on the mountains, doing all kinds of stuff. And you can keep an eye on that. Follow Ski Rex Media. I love the fandom and I love the interaction. I love some of the comments and criticisms. If you think I'm doing something wrong, shout it out and I'll think it over, maybe, because you might be right. How else am I going to learn if someone doesn't tell me, right? Right. So now getting past all that, wow, that's the fastest I've ever gotten through the shameless plugs, I think. Ain't that something? Today's interview, Lindsay DesLauriers. The DesLauriers name is known. You know it. I'm going to let you figure out how you know it if you don't know how you know it, because this isn't their interview. This is Lindsay's interview. But we do talk about her brothers later on during the interview, but I tried not to. It's a whole thing. In fact, I'm going to come correct with you. You know Tim. Tim comes correct. I don't BS. I don't fib. I'm an honest guy. I got a little fanboy, not going to say nervous, but a little fanboy jumbled. I even blew the intro. I do this introduction, then I go to the interview and introduce the person direct, and I kind of blew it, I think, after thinking about it and seeing it and hearing it again. Man, I kind of blew it, I think. But all in all, it's a good interview, a lot of laughs. Lindsay, very awesome, very knowledgeable, gives us the history, gives us a few other things, tells us some stuff that we don't know, right? So we'll get into that with Lindsay. Look, see, I'm blowing it now. That's how uppity I am about this. So Lindsay DesLauriers is on the program today. I do hope you enjoy it. She hopes you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy Bolton Valley. If you've been, if you've never been, I highly suggest it. I love the place. I can't stress enough how awesome it is. I love it. It's got to be one of my favorite mountains that I've been to. And I've been to a few. I think I've been to 20 now, 20 or 21. So I'm not as much as Tom Thrash, but a few. And it's a good time. It's a good interview. It's a good mountain. Check it out. I'll let you check it out now. Enjoy the conversation with Miss Lindsay DesLauriers, and I will catch you at the end of it. Enjoy it. Thanks. This week, as I said, Lindsay DesLauriers from Bolton Valley. How you doing, Miss Lindsay?
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, a lot of folks who are fans of Ski Rex Media recognize you and your name because we're all Indy Pass holders. Every last one of us. And then beyond that, we all saw In Pursuit of Soul, which you were in, as well as other family members. So I guess we'll start there. What's it like to have the family business be a ski hill? Like, you hear about old school family businesses. You take over the family farm, you take over the family drugstore. How do you take over the family ski hill?
Good question. Probably in much the same way, except in our case, it was definitely a little bit unique because it had been in other hands for about 20 years before we got back 5 years ago. And so for us to return to the family business and to the family land and to our home, we worked with a group of local investors to raise some money to help us put together what we needed to be able to make the purchase, and then all together bought it back. And
awesome.
Since then, it's just been really, I think in other family businesses where there's like direct succession,
sure,
probably the second generation has been working maybe right alongside the first generation. And so they've kind of grown up and, come through a natural trajectory of building their experience and their awareness of the business so that it's relatively seamless.
Sure.
For us, it was definitely a little different because when my dad ran the ski area, he ran it right through my childhood, but we hadn't been directly involved since I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
So it was a lot of learning and a lot of really, quick trying to get up to speed to figure out the ins and outs of the business, really.
That's awesome. That's great. I know people love it. I know that having been there myself, it feels like the family vibe. It's run by a family. Everybody knows that. This place is super famous. People come to Vermont and they say Killington and Stowe. They say Bolton too. And, I would put it up there with those other two guys any old day of the week, any day of the week. Probably one of my favorite hills. Absolutely. But the family vibe continues into who goes there, the people that go there. It's not just, people like me who show up and hang out for a few days during the year. You have a whole family thing from kids, adults, all of it, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I think that really stems from my dad's commitment when he built the ski area in the 60s and he put in night lights. The reason why he did that was really two things. One, he wanted people who worked regular working hours to be able to come and ski after work, and he really wanted Vermonters to be skiers. And then the other part of wanting Vermonters to become skiers was teaching the next generation to ski. And so right out of the gate, he partnered with local schools, and for the last 55 years, Bolton Valley has been the place to learn to ski through the after-school programs. I think this year we're in partnership with 35 or 40 different local schools, busing them up after school. For $100, the kid can come up and, learn to ski. They can get rentals, lessons, and that really, I think, builds that connection to the families, and not just like for the family in that moment, but it builds like a generational connection. We've got families coming up now, kids who are in the ski program who are the third generation of ski program kids at Bolton Valley. And so the roots really go deep for a lot of people in our area.
Absolutely. If you're talking third generation, that's some serious legacy of, skiing families, that you just keep coming back, which speaks to the hill and how good it is. If people keep coming back, they keep coming back. Now, you said, what was that, 35 or 40 schools?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is so amazing to me, because growing up in Vermont, I didn't even realize there were 35 schools in this entire state. We're small here,
Small.
You grew up in Vermont too, right?
I did. Yeah. At Bolton Valley.
There you go. So she's been here the whole time. It's not like a transplant thing.
No.
And she'll attest, like, we're all very rural here. I tell my city friends, my high school graduating class had 40. They're like, what? There were 40 people in my English class. So when there's 35 or 40 schools, that's catering to a good amount of kids from a wide area. Like, Bolton is just on the other side of Montpelier, but still Montpelier is not like other state capitals. It's a tiny little town, and it's awesome. And I love it out there. I think you have a great location and everything out there. A little odd getting to it if you're coming from Waterbury Way, because all of a sudden the highway's right there on your left. You don't expect that. What's been going on this year? How have things been shaping up there? There's been a late winter. Other places are fighting to keep snow, fighting to make snow. At the beginning, it had still not really snowing all that much. How are you all doing up there?
We're hanging through. Some years you have early season abundance, and some years you don't. And this year is one of the years where we don't. We're just grinding through it. Like everyone, it's a scramble to make snow, and it can be challenging. I mean, the difficult thing about this year is we had a lot of warm temperatures early on that weren't conducive to natural snow or to man-made snow. And then the last month has been freezing cold with so many below zero days, which is also not conducive to snowmaking or to natural snow. So it's been a tough year. Bolton does have one advantage over every other ski area in the state, which is our high base elevation. So we have the highest base elevation in the state. And in years like this, where you have limited snowfall, it definitely is to our advantage because we hold our snow better as a result of that. So we've been really grateful for our elevation this year. And then, the other thing that we really have going for us is that we have incredible groomers. Our groomers are just magicians, and I'm constantly getting feedback, from our guests and from our skiers about how incredible our terrain is, no matter what the conditions at Bolton Valley. And a part of that is that our snowmakers do a good job, teeing up the groomers for success, and then the groomers really do a great job. So, we've been able to hang in there. And then we had a big storm last week where we got over a bit of snow, which was sorely needed. And the pent up demand was like an explosion at the ski area last week.
I'd imagine.
I don't know when I've seen a Friday as busy as this past Friday. It was like a banger weekend day. It was like you'd have no idea that it was actually a weekday. So I think, there's a lot of pent up demand still. I hope we get more snow, but we just hang in there, like we always do.
Absolutely. Yeah, like that's New England, man. On some years you're buried, on other years you're on the beach by April. It is what it is, and that's okay. There's ways around that, and especially Bolton. She's not kidding. Like, you got to keep driving up to heaven to get to the base lodge, and then that's only hitting Timberline. Then you got to keep going to get to Maine. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it really is.
In fact, that's one of the things, and I apologize to anybody watching. I apologize to Miss DesLauriers because I'm kind of fanboying out. I'm not saying I'm nervous, but it's like, I'm talking to, the head person here, and I talk up the mountain a lot. When people say to me, how is Bolton Valley? I say it's great. And the thing that stinks about that is I have a couple stories from there that I tell, and people immediately like, Bolton Valley's bad. I'm like, no, I was bad. Me, like, that was my stupidity.
Oh boy, now I'm curious.
It was great. The one day my backpack got caught on the chair. It stayed on the chair. I didn't. I fell. I probably should have rode the bull wheel and kicked the bar, but I didn't. But everybody helped out wonderfully. Like, even through my embarrassment, lifties were great. The ops person who happened to also be right there was great. I'm standing there like, we're going to catch your bag on the way down. Like, yeah, I just need to shake off the embarrassment because I haven't fallen off a lift since I was like 14, maybe. So
well, don't feel bad. The backpacks with the straps and the clips, it can get caught up. That's why they want you to keep it off. And I will just say, one of the things that I love about Bolton and that people are always saying to me, which makes me, I love it, is just how great our staff is. Like at Bolton Valley, like you just mentioned, like the lifties were great. The ops people, whoever was there, jumped in. And I feel like people who are at Bolton, the people who work at Bolton, love Bolton. Everyone there has some kind of special connection to the place, and it's so personal for them, and they find their second family up there. And I think that really translates through to the experience of our skiers. I'm not saying there aren't other mountains that have that. I know that there are other mountains, but not all of them do. And it's really special. It's really special. It's really nice at Bolton. I think you can feel it like emanating out of the staff, and just how much, like how eager they are to help or jump in, pitch in. And it's just, we're really lucky in that way that the community up there isn't just the skiers. It's also, the staff too.
Absolutely. And I agree. From the minute you get there, when you go to the ticket window, that person has a smile and they got you in and out. Like, I walked up to get my Indy Pass ticket. It was in my hand before I finished the sentence. Like, it was wonderful. Very friendly young woman, both times. I think it was the same person. Don't remember who, but, shout out to everybody in ticket sales. I'll get you. One of you is awesome. I know for a fact. And again, the lifties, the ops, I was chit-chatting with a patroller at some point in the line. Like, everybody up there is super friendly, and it's the kind of environment you kind of expect, because in Bolton Valley feels like Vermont. And I don't know if that's a compliment or a criticism or whatever you've ever heard of something similar. Maybe I'm really original and don't realize it, but it feels like Vermont, and Vermont has that reputation. We're all friendly people up here. I don't know if it's true, but that's what we have. And it looks the part. Is that something you hear? Like, it is a Vermont place? Like, it has the feeling? I don't know.
Oh, definitely. And it is. I mean, the village at Bolton Valley is actually pretty unique. Like, most other ski areas, a lot of the condos and the developments and the houses up there are second homeowners. And so you kind of have this almost like transplanted feel, which I think is great. And like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's like, that's great too. And it's in its own way, but it's just something different at Bolton, where most of the condos and most of the houses are actually primary residents. It's a live village, and a live local community that's up there. And so I think that, you feel it. All those people are out, every day or most days skiing. And then when you go to the tavern for après and you're sitting around the bar or standing around the bar, depending on how busy it is.
Yeah, totally.
Like, people there, half of them or more than half are locals, whether they're employees off their shift, whether they're people who live on the mountain or down the hill, or they're some of the parents of the kids in the after school program. You're in Vermont, you're surrounded by Vermonters. And of course, there's also a mix of out of towners, and we love that. And,
Sure.
Please come, and like the more the merrier, but it's full of Vermonters. So it feels like Vermont because it's full of Vermonters.
It is. And I agree. Like, it is Vermont. I mean, shoot, from the lift on a sunny day, you can see a third of the state. Like, you can see into New York actually, but
Yeah.
It's Vermont, and it really is kind of awesome for that feeling. But as she said, there are other people from other places too. And that, I guess, brings me around to the Indy Pass. How has that been doing for you? I've talked to Jeff Hathaway as well, and who was also in Pursuit of Soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if all the it's like famous people, they don't all know each other, so I don't know if all the mountain people know each other. Although John Hunt from Whaleback says hi. I was hanging out with him the other day at Whaleback, so he says hello. He told me to say hello. Yeah, so there you go. Maybe they do all know each other.
Well, in fact, Jeff and I went in on a poker game one time at a Ski Areas Association conference. I went out. We were having a poker game, and I went out, and he rebought in for me, and then we came down to the final table, and I was one of the final two, and we split the pot. So then, Jeff and I shared the winnings. So Jeff and I have a tight relationship. He believes in me.
That's awesome.
This side note, but yeah, I know Jeff, and love magic, and I love the Indy Pass too. I really love the Indy Pass. And Bolton Valley, we get the credit for being the first East Coast subscriber to the Indy Pass. Doug came out, and let's see, I think first we were on the phone, and then he actually came out for a visit, and we met in person. And when he described to me, we're sitting up in the tavern, having dinner, having drink, talking about the program, and he's describing to me his concept for the Indy Pass, and it just really resonated. And I think it was in that very dinner that I just said, yeah, we're in. Bolton will do this with you. We're going to be in on this, because it just made so much sense. And it was also kind of funny for us, because in some of our meetings, like, I want to say maybe 6 months before Doug came up with this or rolled out this concept, I'm sure he was, thinking of it for a long time. We had said, wouldn't it be cool if there was a new pass called the Indy Pass? We should create the Indy Pass of all independent resorts. And then this guy, Doug Fish, rolls up with this exact concept, which of course he had fleshed it out and dialed it in and thought about it, way more nuanced and with so much more detail than, just sort of shooting the breeze. But rolled out a really great concept. And I have been so happy with this product, and it's so great for us. I think he deserves so much credit, because one of the things I love about this pass and what he does is he's curating a list of ski areas where if you go to the ski areas on the list, you have you can trust that you're going to have, a good experience, if there's some kind of consistency between them. He doesn't just take every ski area so it wants to be on the pass. He's really thoughtful about who he includes, and the experience that they provide to skiers. So I think it's great. I love how he reaches into the metro areas, gets the word out, celebrates the indie spirit, and points people to us. And so it's really been a great partnership, and we're totally committed to it. And I have nothing but good things to say about it. I think it's completely awesome.
Absolutely. I agree. I'm 2 years running with it. I love it. I love Doug too. He's great. I've talked to him before. He's kind of awesome. And one of the beautiful things about it, she's right. It points people from other areas to these places that don't necessarily get the eyes, like Stowe and Mount Snow and Okemo, all epic things, Stratton and Killington icon things, whatever it might be. It's a little different, but that's not to say that bigger is better. Not to say that Bolton Valley isn't big. One of the things I've seemed to have noticed about it is, people think the Indy Pass is all small independent hills. I was like, that might be relative because I still haven't figured out how to explore all of Bolton Valley yet. You're good size up there, I think.
Yeah, no, we really are. I mean, we think of ourselves as the littlest of the bigs in Vermont.
Sure.
We're definitely a full-on mid-sized ski area. But as far as the Indy Pass, I think Doug really tries to have a good blend of sizes. So, he has some of the really small ski areas, like the super local mountains, maybe closer to the metro areas. But then he also has what he calls his destination resorts, and we're definitely into that category of, the destination resort group of ski areas on the Indy Pass. And so, he has a great connection. And Bolton is not small. It's not small. It has a small feel, which is nice, but it does not small in terms of, the number of chairlifts, number of lifts, the terrain, the vertical, etc.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's another one of the beauties of the Indy Pass is you get so many different things. On Monday you're at Magic, at Tuesday you're at Bolton. That's two completely different experiences. And then on Wednesday you come back to Suicide 6. And that's even more different. And then go up to J, and that's even more different. And, it's wonderful. And every place, you're not wrong. I've had a wonderful experience at every place I've been to on it. In these places, you don't find them. Like I heard about Bolton Valley when I was a kid growing up, but I worked at Mount Snow. Everybody knows this. It was American Skiing Company. I was at Mount Snow, Haystack, Killington, and that was it because I didn't have to pay for it. But when you're a teenager, whatever. But, finally as an adult, got up to Bolton the first time last year. And I was like, wow, this place is amazing. First day, I was like, this place is great. And I love it. And I hope it continues forever doing what it's doing. Do you have what's the future plans for Bolton here? Like, everybody has their calendar of events, and I'm sure you do as well. But going beyond that, what you see now is places are trying to ramp up to bigger chairs. You got 6s and 8s and ARFID, which you already have, which I love personally. A lot of people hate ARFID. I love it. I think it's great. Bigger and better things. Is that what you all are going to try and do, or no?
Well, I think our goals and objectives are a little bit different than some of the bigger areas that are on, super rapid growth trajectories. We certainly would like to grow some, our base lodge, some of our spaces could use some updating, and we've already started that process over the last 5 years. I think, if you were there 5 years ago and you were there this year, you'd be like, oh, wow, this place has definitely, been doing a lot, and we have been doing a lot, but we have more sort of upgrading and updating to do. We could use a little more space. There's no doubt about it. Our base lodge could be a little more spacious. So that's something that we'd like to see in the future. You may already know this, but we recently started building a downhill mountain bike park. So we also are focusing a lot on our summer operation and growing our summer operation. And so we have continued plans to grow our mountain bike program, which is really fun. We're also really excited to get into the wedding business. We bought a wedding venue, which is a beautiful wedding venue called The Ponds, which is really well known, does a lot of high-end weddings, and we're taking over management of that starting next Thanksgiving, so by next summer. And then we expanded our Timberline base lodge also, so that it can accommodate like group sales, corporate groups, weddings. So we're really, excited to expand into those areas, especially in the summertime, but, it could be year round as well. And then we're just starting the process of building out our next 10 years, our plans for the next 10 years. And we're looking at a lot of possibilities. We're looking at, upgrades to snowmaking. We're looking at, night skiing and maybe doing some expansion in night skiing at some point, which would be really fun. We're looking at the possibility of more residential development up there too. Could we right now, like the condos and the houses, you cannot buy one. I know people who've been trying to buy up there for years, and it's impossible. So, maybe coming, a few years down the road, maybe there'll be some new spots open for people. So we'll see what happens. It's a long process, a lot of visioning left to do, a lot of permitting before you do anything in Vermont. So we'll see where it leads, but we're thinking a lot about what the future of Bolton Valley is going to look like. But I can say one thing: it's going to look, whatever we do, it's we don't want to change the vibe, because we really love who we are and sort of where we fit into the world, and we really want to keep that really consistent, and we don't have any aspirations to change, to fundamentally change who we are or what we're doing.
Very good. Now, I just assumed, because everybody else has done it, that you were already mountain biking up there. That's new, or going to be new.
Well,
I had no idea.
Some trails, but they were really intense. In fact, they're kind of like well known for being almost unapproachably difficult. So we really have been focusing on beginner and intermediate terrain, expanding sort of the accessibility of the mountain biking terrain that's up there, and then spinning the lift. Last year, for the first time, we spun the lift. So now we actually have lift-served mountain biking. And we partnered with Gravity Logic to build the new trails. So those are the same guys who built out at Whistler, who built Killington, who built Thunder Mountain, Winter Park, really all the best parks in the world. And so we've brought them in to do our trail design and the build out of the new sort of beginner and intermediate, and to rebuild some of the old crazy gnarly trails too, to make them a little bit more modern and actually a little more fun to ride for most people.
I gotcha. I'm not big into mountain biking anymore myself. But a lot of people, they do use the mountains to stay in the mountains once the snow melts. If they're not going, to higher elevations or to the Southern Hemisphere or whatever. So mountain biking, a very big deal. And that's awesome that you've gotten more into it, keep people there, man. It's wonderful. I'm pretty sure you all have the disc golf up there too. That's a fun.
Yeah. That's my brother Evan's passion. And we've got the disc golf.
That's awesome. That's a fun game. If you've never tried it, I mean, I'm not competition worthy, but it's fun. It is fun. So see, you just mentioned a brother, and I don't mean to go kind of off in lefts and rights, but as they come up, how many of you in the family are there right now on staff?
So we've got my two out of four. I have four brothers. Two of them are up at Bolton full time.
Sure.
My dad is up there all the time, and my mom lives up there as well. She's not involved in the resort operation, but she does help out. We also own and operate the water company on the mountain as well, and my mom is involved in the water company. She does the books.
See, now that was an interesting one. That one I was going to ask for myself, but I'll throw it out here. It's in your email signature. I was like, wait, I understand the one title, but how do you get the other title? I don't know. It just seemed interesting to me that you were part of the water company too. And I almost had to ask, like, do you get voted in that town? Is that how that works? Like, I didn't think it was a private thing. It
is a private thing. Yeah, it is a private thing, which is a little bit unique for sure, but it's not a municipal system. My dad actually built it back in the day when he built the ski area, because you had to have drinking water and you have to put the poop somewhere.
Sure.
So yeah, kind of comes with it. They're two separate companies, and the drinking water it's a regulated utility, but nevertheless it is privately owned, and we operate that as well.
Who knew, man? That speaks to a couple things. Number one, that speaks to cutting out the middleman everywhere. That's business 101. Well, maybe 102, 202 maybe. But that just speaks to, like, all right, one of the things, and In Pursuit of Soul, that was one of the topics. And that actually, I think you and your dad were both contributors to this part in particular, was talking about how these smaller places are maybe family owned. And they talked to a few different ones. I know Black Mountain out on the other side of New Hampshire, that's family owned. And there was one or two others. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have done more research. But it's a family thing. And here you have a huge family of five kids. The only girl. I feel bad. I know what it's like to be boys.
Oh, don't feel bad. It was pretty fun growing up with all my brothers.
It was. I'm sure it was. ski family in Vermont. It just, I don't know. I find it incredibly fascinating that you did it. And now not only, I mean, I say cut out the middleman, but that was a joke, but your father opened it and said, well, gee, now we need to do this. Well, I'll do that too, and got it done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fascinating that the family just got it done, and bang, here you are, legendary later on in life.
You just got to get it done. That's right. That's it.
That's awesome to me. So are you still skiing out there, or are you just in the office too much now?
I am in the office too much, but I am also still skiing. And I'm super into the backcountry myself. I've got the bug, and I'm out there just loving it, powder hunting as much as I can.
Absolutely. And I've seen that Bolton Valley has embraced it. I mean, a lot of mountains are these days embracing, touring and backcountry and whatnot. But I feel like Bolton's one of the ones to really have been progressing as fast as one mountain can. Not to mention, is it one of the press groups that goes up there each year, or was just there 2 years ago or last year? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did have a press group, and we took them on the Bolton to Traps Trail, and then skied from Bolton along the ridgeline there, and then down a super fun ski run out to Stowe, where we had a shuttle pick us up. So that was a real, if we're talking about the same thing, which I think we are,
totally
a blast of a ski day that day. And that was awesome. And we just hit it. We nailed it with good snow. And that was a standout day. And then a couple of us, most people took the shuttle back, but then a couple of us decided not to take the shuttle back, and we went out for a little more, and we got another couple huge runs out in Stowe. I won't disclose the location, but that day was one of the best. That really was it was a great day. Stand out. So much good skiing.
Standout day with local secrets. Watch out for those local secrets.
Can't divulge.
Yeah. So now that's interesting to me. Not only that you had the group and you do embrace it, but you can get from Bolton to Stowe. Now, on the road, this isn't the most direct thing. They're not far, but you got to go down and then take a left and go all the way that way, and then take another left and go all the way out. It's got to be a half hour, 45 minutes, I would figure.
Hour, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously it's going to take longer on foot, but you can do it. Like, you can go, I don't want to say straight across, but as the bird flies, you can do that, huh?
Well, and there's a very famous trail called the Bolton to Traps Trail.
Okay.
It basically takes you from Bolton Valley Resort to the Trapp Family Lodge, if you follow the whole thing. And so that's sort of the main thoroughfare. Sure. And then there's a lot of really fun skiing, accessible from that trail that we ski.
That's awesome. I haven't gotten into it yet. You got to be in better shape to do that stuff, and I'm just not there yet.
Common fallacy. It's just like walking. You can walk. You can do it.
I was over at Whaleback the other day, and they don't fully groom. They got an MRG kind of vibe over there. Don't fully groom. My first run, halfway down, I needed to stop. I was winded, so that's just going down in ungroomed stuff. It was a little deep, but I was like, all right. So I don't know, but maybe you're right. What do I know? I've never done it. I've never put skins on a ski. I don't know anything about touring bindings.
Well, let me just make a little pitch to you to try Bolton Valley's backcountry program. We got demo setups. We got instructors. We got guides. We'll give you your first experience, and you can see if you like it. And that's my brother Adam's brainchild and pet project. And you got to try it. There's no place better than Bolton.
Absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up, because that's kind of where I was going. I was talking to the director of Whaleback Ski School. I was like, are you all going to start teaching uphills, touring, backcountry it's just getting more and more popular every minute. Mm-hmm. You already do that, it would seem.
Yeah. Oh, we do. Yes. We have a whole backcountry program. We've got rental fleet. You can get season-long backcountry leases. You can get daily rentals. We've got instructors, guides, intro clinics, everything from never done it to super experienced and just want a guide to show me all the rad places.
That's awesome. I had no idea, because I push that it's always better to learn from someone who knows how to do it. And someone that you don't know. I've seen marriages almost end. I've seen people almost break up. I've seen best friends hate each other for weeks on end. Go to an instructor.
I on that. Yes. Never try to teach a friend to ski. Don't try to teach your children.
Absolutely. And I agree. Family, it's like business, even though business and family mix here. Business and family doesn't mix.
Well, not true in my family, but okay.
It's totally not true. I mean, you know what? I've been saying that for years, and now I feel stupid. Whatever. But that's really cool. I was thinking, no, the next day I get up there, that's going to be on Indie Pass Day. But now I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Still got a little winter left. Not a lot, but a little.
Oh,
Are you all planning to push past March? Going to try and make April?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll definitely, well, I mean, look, the weather could make this impossible, but barring any like catastrophic weather, events, we'll definitely run straight through the first weekend of April. And then if we can get another couple weekends, we will. We'll see what Mother Nature allows.
That would be awesome. Again, I do love Killington, but I would love to see someone take that longest season title from them for one time.
Oh no, we are not in contention with Killington. Let me just acknowledge it and just credit where credit is due. We're not playing that game, but we'll go as long as Mother Nature allows us to go without whatever they do to make it that long.
That's awesome. And yes, I am just playing around. I'm just being stupid.
We will not be open until June. I can just tell you.
Yeah. Like, and the funny thing is, as I've talked to more and more folks like yourself, Jeff Hathaway, John Hunt at Whaleback, Mark Adamczyk over at the Skiway, all these people, there's no bad blood. There's no like hardcore competition, mafia style competition. That was just me being stupid, trying to get a cheap laugh. And I made myself laugh, so I guess that's good enough. Everybody plays nice and they play fair and they play together.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed more this season because the like cost and everything, everybody, that is a concern. Mm-hmm. So I've seen more and more mountains. This one's partnered with this bunch, and then this bunch is partnered maybe with more. Do you excuse me? Do you all do that as well, or no?
When you say partner, do you mean like on like passes or tickets?
Yeah. Like for instance, if you have a Whaleback Seasons Pass, you can go to the Skiway for 50% off a day ticket any day, something like that.
Yeah, no, we do that through the Indie Pass, and that's our big partnership that we're a part of as far as, other ski areas and joining a club like that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And again, I was just curious because I can't know everything. And I tell people, do you ever heard of this mountain? I was like, no. They're like, aren't you in this business? I was like, how am I supposed to know everything? Come on, man.
I don't know everything. I'm in this business too, and I probably know this much. So.
Yep. No, and I agree, as my being inside and out of the ski world. I mean, shoot, I'm going down to the Hermitage Club tomorrow. I don't know anything about privates.
Awesome. Oh, that'll be so fun. And it's fun because I think the Schaefers are involved in that now too.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you gonna meet with John down there?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not on this trip.
Well, he's amazing. He's a visionary, and he's doing some great things there with, Berkshire East and Catamount and the ski areas that he's managing. And that's another family legacy ski area story. So yeah,
absolutely.
Props to those guys.
Yeah, that family, like I went to Berkshire East for the first time a couple weeks ago. Awesome place. Mm-hmm. Forgot that Catamount was part of that. Haven't been there yet. I do believe they are helping out down at Haystacker Hermitage Club. I think they're even helping out at Bosquet over there in Pittsfield, Mass. Or it's near Pittsfield, Mass. I don't remember the actual town. I've been there in the summer, but I've never skied it.
That's a great story. You should get John on your podcast.
That's something else I love about talking to you guys who run this place. There is almost, now I did make the joke, the famous people don't know everybody. Obviously they can't know everybody. The people who run these mountains can't know everybody either, but the ones that do will always shout out the next one. So I was with Jeff. You talk to Lindsay? I will. Also, Doug Fish also suggested you. Dan Egan suggested you as well. Shout out to Dan. And then, you, the Schaefers, John Hunt told me about, introduced me to Mark Adamczyk and told me how to get in touch with the head of Pat's Peak, which I believe is another family-ish owned and run resort. There's this, I don't want to say it's like a clique or like a Mean Girls group back in high school, because these people are too nice for that. But I'm starting to believe the fact that you all do know each other and there's something bigger going on. Is that true? Like let's just get the scoop right now.
I would say it's definitely not like a clique or a Mean Girls club. It's more like a support group.
Yeah.
This is a tough business. This is a hard business. Like margins are thin. Success is not insured. It's a lot of work every day. It's a hard business. It's a hard and tiring business. And so, yeah, we stick together. We have each other's backs, and we share our best practices with each other. I think we all are rooting for the success of each other and for every other one. Rising tide floats all boats. And I think that's true in the ski industry. And I just have a lot of respect for the work that other people are doing. I've been at it 5 years. And of course, I grew up in the thick of it. And so you see other people, trying to make their way in the world today. It takes everything you got.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I love it. And you're not wrong. while you get the giggles back, since I already have, she's not wrong, and it's a wonderful thing to see you all working together. And speaking of you all and talking to all of you, one of the and again, in Pursuit of Souls touched on this too. It's a little different. There isn't somebody just sitting up at a desk with their feet up while they send out the order and then it goes down, blah 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 blah. Jeff Hathaway talks about how and I think he actually liked doing parking on the days. And the other day he was in the kitchen, and, you don't do just one thing. And I assume you over there are like that too. Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone is, and I don't think it's a function of being a small ski area. I think that ski areas are so dynamic and they have so many ins and outs, and they're so staffing intensive and so seasonally staffing intensive that you're just always short staffed. I will say it's not my goal to do that. I think, my favorite weekends are the weekends when the staff is handling it, when
Totally.
when we're adequately staffed, when we're ready for it, when we're prepared, and when everything is just smooth like butter. That's my favorite and the preference. But it's just, as with life, you don't get that every time. And then it's all hands on deck and everybody does whatever they can do, myself included.
That's awesome. And you know what? It is a pain sometimes, I won't lie, but it keeps things exciting. I've back in the 90s at Mount Snow, I was all over that place, and I was I wasn't a supervisor or anything, but I was just a nobody running, going to this kitchen, going to that register, going to that ticket window. Not a fan of selling tickets though. I'm not going to lie about it. Like I respect anybody who can do that. That's, that
was my high school job. I was in the ticket window.
There you go. And I'm sure you're a tougher person for it, because oh my goodness. Like, I get the food service line gets some jerk people too, but that ticket window, man, you better have your helmet on. At least that was my experience the few times I did it. I don't know. Maybe it was just bad days. Yeah. Whatever.
The people who ski at Bolton are so uniformly nice.
Absolutely. Like the place it's just awesome. I don't even know how else to say it. The people are great. The people who go there are great. The people who work there are great. Lindsay's great. Her whole family, I'm sure, is great. I don't know them. I know of them, but who doesn't in this business? But we won't get into that. Those guys are famous enough. Excuse me again. So we know the future. We know the history. We know everything that's going on over there. Man, it just sounds like a good time. Are you still having a good time 5 years later?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm having a better time all the time. The more you sort of wrap your arms around something and get through a few cycles, the more confident you become, the less rattled you are when something goes wrong. And then also the other thing that's been really great is, over the last 5 years, we had a lot of turnover at the beginning, as you might imagine, because here we come in with a different vision. And so, you got to find people who share the vision. And but you kind of grow together as a team over that time. And so, I feel like over the last 5 years now, we've got, our relationships have all deepened, all the people who are working together. And that feels really good. It feels like, we're even just like, we're more settled, we're more situated, we're really gelling. We're starting to know each other really well and how we work together. And it's fun to have watched things like that were on paper 5 years ago be, coming to fruition now, or, projections, or we said, okay, well, if we do this, then this will happen. And to see those things actually play out is so gratifying. So yes, still having fun, better all the time.
That's awesome. That's great. Before we go, I've saved this question for last because I don't know if you want to get into it, and because I don't know the story. I don't know if it's something, but your family got out of it and then back into it. Is there a story there? Is it just one day we had to move on and then we came back, or is that even okay to ask? Like, you can totally tell me to go.
Oh no, it's totally fine to ask. I mean, the story is that it's hard to run a ski area, and there were a number of factors which my dad could articulate to you better than I can, that he was just really running on hard times, and he sold it under duress, basically under threat of bankruptcy. And so, yeah, so he, essentially we lost the ski area at that time.
Okay.
And then it went through a number of other hands, and until we were in this kind of very unexpected, actually, position to step back in. It's not something that I think any of us, I mean, I'm sure we all at different times thought about, well, what if that were to happen? But I don't think any of us thought for one split second that that would happen. So it's been a kind of surreal experience and pretty magical, and really special for our family. Really, we've always been a close family, but it's like made us even closer, to all be sort of coming back to our homeland, really, and, getting behind an endeavor together and working together. And even my two older brothers who are out west are really involved, more than you would think. They come back a lot more now. My brother Eric comes back for extended stays in the summer and pitches in. I'm on the phone with my brother Rob, who's done a lot of development out in Jackson Hole, and he's essentially a great strategic advisor for us. So it's been a great thing for us just as a family, like the business side aside.
Sure. That's great though. Like, if I made the comment about family and business before, but if outside of that your family does get closer, that's awesome. And that everybody's taking part. That's so good, man. Like, it's a great story. Like, you all could have a story of your own. Like, you don't even need to be contributors into something like In Pursuit of Soul. You could absolutely have someone show up on site and like, let's do a DesLauriers documentary and talk about more than just your brothers. Like I said to John Hunt, I'm like, I'm not going to bring up her brothers. I'm not doing that. But as a family general thing, it's whatever.
By the way, I'm so proud of my brothers. I grew up looking up to them. They're quite a bit older than I am, if you're talking about Rob and Eric, which I see.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love it.
Yeah. And that's cool. And like, Egan brought them up when I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, you guys are all old school party animals, whatever. I'm too old for that stuff. But no, it's awesome that your family is, you say Bolton, and I don't even think people realize that it was out of the family's control for an extended period of time. Like, your name is almost synonymous with the mountain. And that, I think, is kind of awesome. That builds a reputation, and it's a good one. It's a great one. People love it. Yeah, I love the place too. So let's plug it up a little bit here. Here's the website, Bolton Valley's Bolton.com, I believe, BoltonValley.com, and you can get all the information you need from there. You can even get tickets ahead of time there. Of course, you can do that with pretty much anywhere now. It is the future, and that's the internet. We're practically Star Trek in the future here. So head there, check that out. They'll have the hours, they have everything, and you all go late. They have lights. Not every night though. Do you go late every night?
No, we go late Tuesday through Saturday. So we take a break on Sundays and Mondays. Sundays and Mondays, we just spin till 4 p.m. and Tuesdays through Saturdays till 10 p.m.
There you go. And 10 p.m. is like late. Most places do like 7, maybe 9, but you could party up there, man.
Party on.
I love it. Well, thank you, Miss Lindsay. You are awesome and amazing and great. And your mountain is awesome and amazing. You're great. And I'm sure your water company is amazing and great too. I don't know. I brought bottled with me that day. So, or those couple of days. So I hope that's all good. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else before I let you go here?
No, thank you. This has been really fun. Very lighthearted and a real treat.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely some laughs here. The woman's funny. Thank you, Miss Lindsay. And we'll catch up with you during the season.
Okay, sounds great. See you later.
And there you have it. Lindsay DesLauriers, so awesome. How awesome is she? That was great. And like I said, I think I kind of flubbed this one a little bit. So I'm going to have to, take a deep breath, collect myself. And we were going to do an in-person interview, but scheduling kind of it changed that to the remote interview, which you see a lot of the time here. It's a lot of what we do now. Between COVID and people scheduling, sometimes this is what you got to do. And for me, a lot of the times this is what I have to do. But that's okay. It totally works, but we're going to do it again. Lindsay's going to get a second interview because I think I could have been better. I really do. In any case, boltonvalley.com. Let me put it up on the screen here so you can see it. For those watching the video version, for the audio version, it's boltonvalley.com. Links in the description. Do not check it if you are listening to the podcast in the car. Wait till you stop. You do not want the cell phone ticket from the police. Right. Head out to Bolton Valley when you have the opportunity. Pick up an Indy Pass if you're into that. I love mine, as we know. And enjoy the rest of the season. It is only the middle of February, so depending on where you are in the northern hemisphere and in North America, you still have quite a bit of season to go. For us in New England, maybe not so much, but we'll definitely get to April, I think. I don't think winter's over. I think it was just late and we're going to get it. At least I hope so anyway, because I'm way behind because of that damn COVID. Like I said, I'm not letting anybody forget I was sick. Sympathy. That's what I'm about. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on the Ski Rex Media Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening or watching, #watching. And I hope you'll join me for the next one, which, as I said during that interview about the Hermitage Club, that's next week's episode. That should be next week's episode. So check that one out. And we'll see what's going on after that. I have a few things lined up. We'll see, right? Enjoy it. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening, whatever it may be. And I'll see you out there and on the next one later.